How do you manage a rental property remotely? It might be that you're traveling temporarily, like for a month-long trip or something. It might be that you live completely out of the state where your rental property is. But the same question looms, how do you manage this property if you're not going to be physically there? That's the question I'm going to tackle in today's Ask Coach episode, and we're getting started right now. Hi, I'm Chad Carson. You can also call me Coach. Welcome to Coach Carson TV. It's all about investing in real estate, financial independence, and doing more of what matters in your life. In just a moment, I'm going to take you to a clip from a recent Ask Coach live stream. And it was a really good question about managing a property remotely. This person who asked the question actually lived in a house hack, which means they lived in one unit and they had two other units next door. But this really applies to any rental property for someone who's going to be long distance. In her case, she was going to be traveling for several months at a time. In my case, I actually had a situation. I live in Clemson, South Carolina, where my rental properties are, but my family and I moved for 17 months abroad to another country to live in Ecuador in South America. And so it's something I've had a lot of experience with as well. And so I want to share with you my answer, my thoughts on how some very specific practical tips on how to manage a property remotely. Let's take you there right now. Me being gone for 17 months last year, I was sort of in a similar situation. So the idea is basically about long distance landlording. And in your case, it's a house hack. So you have your two tenants next door to you. How do they handle, an emergency situation or there's a flood or something like that? I think it depends on who your tenants are, like how responsible they are, willing to do some things. But I love your idea of creating a Google Doc with phone numbers for certain people. So let's just say, I would just make like a if this, then this kind of thing. So like think about the worst case scenario. Let's say water is rushing out of underneath the sink in your kitchen. Like what would you do in that case? You would probably go and try to find the cutoff. So the little valve that turns off the water. And so maybe you can just say, if you have a water leak anywhere in the house, look for the the valve underneath the sink, or tell them where it is, show them where it is. So this is the first thing you do. Just turn that off. You won't have water in the sink right then, but you won't be flooding the apartment. And so you just teach them how that works, because that's one of the worst things that could happen. It's just water running. And then if they couldn't reach you, give them numbers actually anyway. So here's the plumber I would like you to call. Just go ahead and call them right away. Just tell them to come out. Like, I'm giving you permission, if there's an emergency like that, to call them. And you can talk to your plumber and go ahead and negotiate ahead of time. So if you have to come out to the house, how much will it cost just at a minimum? And mine might tell me, for example, $75 or $100 just for a call. And so for you, to me, that's worth it. Like if you knew that you had to spend $100 just to get somebody out there so that you have peace of mind and not have to know about it, that's great. And they can text you, they can call you afterwards. But you can do the same thing for electrician, heating and air, plumber. I think those are and then maybe a handyman kind of person too, who you might need to do something miscellaneous, and just put them on a list, have those phone numbers available for them. But more than that, have instructions. I think, sometimes the people just don't know, if they know what to do, like put it on the refrigerator. Here's what you do in case of these situations, or just have it in their email inbox, share the Google Doc. I think those are very helpful. The other thing I would do is I would want to maybe look for some local friends and investors who could help you out, Brooke. Hopefully you're networking and meeting other people. I've had that good luck with just having sort of local investor friends. Like if I'm traveling, I have a business partner, so it's a little bit helpful if I'm traveling, he's probably not, and vice versa. But if you're new and you're just starting out, like having some other investor friends who can kind of cover for each other. It's almost like a little co-op, And so when they're traveling, you could say, look, if you're gone for 3 weeks, like I'll cover for you. I would even get a cell phone, like just get a dedicated cell phone just for your real estate kind of stuff. And, with Republic Wireless, I have one for like $10 or $5 a month. It's like a Wi-Fi plan. I don't know if they still do those, but super cheap to do that. And so you could just hand that to your investor, or have a Google Voice number and just have that forwarded to them somehow while you're gone. So that's like, people are the key. Like I have good people on the ground now who I've trained to sort of help me do certain things. And then in the weird exceptions where something unusual happens that they don't understand, they can then text me, they can message me. And even in Ecuador, I was able to help out with those kind of things. So I think that's the key, having people on the ground. Your tenants are like your first choice. If they're responsible enough to handle some things, they're almost like your employees. They have a vested interest in helping your property stay good because they live there. The second line of defense would be networking with other investors, other landlords that you can be kind of buddy with and help each other out. Offer to do the same thing for them. Hey, when you're on vacation, I'm happy to help you out. Let me help you. And having that little network can give you a lot of peace of mind. So I hope that's helpful, Brooke. I think my summary is people and checklists, systems. Those are my two things that have really helped me out over time. Thanks for watching this episode of Ask Coach TV. I would love to hear from you in the comments below. Have you ever had to manage a property remotely, or are you thinking about managing a property remotely? What kind of questions do you have? What kind of challenges have you faced, if that's something you've done? And do you have any other practical tips that I didn't mention here? I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to learn from you as well. If you found this video helpful, we have a lot more Ask Coach videos coming in the future. So I hope you'll consider subscribing. On YouTube, you can just click that subscribe button below. Be sure to click the bell button right next to it, and that'll notify you anytime we have a new video coming out. And if you're on Facebook, just click the like button. It'll do the same thing. So I really appreciate you being here for Ask Coach TV. This channel is all about investing in real estate so that you can achieve financial independence and do more of what matters in your life. My name is Chad Carson. I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Have a good day.